Hello. One thing we all, I think, can agree on is the tipping culture in this country has gotten so ridiculous and so far gone. I was just recently on vacation this past week in the beautiful, great free state of Florida. And I was staying at a resort, and I get it, they're tourist traps, I get it. But I'm sitting out there and I pay a resort fee. I pay an amenity fee, they call it. $40 a day. And it includes 2 chairs and a table out on the beach. Great. It's a great deal. So this guy comes around and he's asking me my room number, of the hotel we're staying at, what my last name is, my phone number, all that kind of stuff. And I give him all that information. He turns around with the tablet and says, please select the gratuity. Gratuity? For what? What did you do? So I asked him, I said, what is the gratuity for? He said it was for the people who set up the tables and chairs. Shit, I want a freaking tip for my job too.
The tipping scheme in America is absolutely insane. A lot of shops are requesting tips after they swivel that iPad once you swipe your card. And most of the times, those tips are not justified. If you go into a coffee shop or a smoothie shop and they're asking for a tip, you don't really have to tip at those places because you're not being given any service. It's not a sit-down restaurant where they're waiting on you, refilling your waters. You're paying for the product and that's it. Now, a lot of people are avoiding tips by simply doing takeout. In that case, you don't really have to tip, maybe $1 if you're feeling generous, but that's one of the main problems with tipping culture. And for a lot of people, it is placing pressure on them when they select no tip because in most times it's not really justified. And even the employees of the stores, they sometimes even click the no tip option for you, so it's not placing any pressure on the customers. Let me know down below what you think and take a look at the rest of these clips.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but stop feeling like you have to tip everybody. Don't let these people bully you. I feel like as Americans, they try to bully us into tipping everybody. Like, I went to go get hot pot the other day. They asked me for a tip. I just sat here and cooked my own food. And then what blows me about the servers, they literally sit there like, now they're going to ask you a question. Like, you know what it's asking me. Do you think you deserve a tip, boo? Like, I'm actually getting fed up. Like, I cooked my own food. You're asking me for a tip. Baby, I'm the chef. I don't understand.
But why is tipping culture in America so insane right now? You guys, I want to hear your craziest tipping request story. I am in a bunch of those Facebook groups where they ask people to help me AI the outside of my house. Somebody said, should I tip the guys who install my countertops? Your countertops? Should you tip? Literally that never would have crossed my mind. Are you supposed to tip people like that? I literally have no idea. You guys, we were at a bar the other day and my husband checked out and we got some beers and the options were 25%, 35%, 45%. Also, a few years ago, I had a ultrasound done, like a 3D ultrasound, and it was one of those places where like the woman owned her own business. She had her own ultrasound, machine. You walk in her building, it's just her. She's the only employee. It has me pay before I even get the service, and it asks for the tip before I even get the service. Also, why would I tip her? She's a one-man show. She charges her own prices. Like, I am so over it. I wish America would just pay people what we want to pay people and, not leave it up to the consumer. It makes me feel so awkward. And also, I'm constantly pissed. Constantly.
This is controversial and it will piss off some of you, but normalize clicking no tip on the iPad. Normalize it! Because I am dead tired of paying for things that should not be tippable. Like, I just went to a coffee shop to buy a bottle of water, and the lady turns around, opens the fridge door, and pulls out a bottle of water, right? She shows me the iPad, she turns it around, and then it's like 15, 18, 20. I'm like, girl, forgive me, no tip. But I'm sorry, the way she I know the tipping prompt is involuntary, regardless of what I order, it will pop up. But you look at me dead in the eyes and you flip that iPad and you show it to me, pretending we don't both know what you're doing. I don't know. I think that's crazy to me. In fact, it's not even the worst of all examples. I think tipping culture has gone out of control. We should not be tipping for basic service. What is next? Jesus.
Hot take, and y'all tell me what you think of it. I'm tired of tipping. Tipping culture in America is crazy anyway. And let me preface this by saying I made my living in the service industry for a long time. Waitressing, bartending, I managed restaurants. Like, I know all about the service industry. And when I go to a restaurant or a bar, I tip good. Like, I am very well known to buy other people's tables worth of food and like tip $50 tips on little things. Like, I am a very generous person. I make good money, so I pride myself on being a good human. But when I go into, I'm not going to show the name, a yogurt place where I go in there, I pull the container off, I serve myself, the person just hits a couple buttons on the cash register, I'm not tipping for that. So do y'all feel like tipping culture has gotten really out of hand? Like, I don't mind at a coffee shop when somebody's making me a drink to tip a little. Or like, you know, when I go to a restaurant, I get a to-go order, I still tip a little because I know the person took time to put their stuff together and all that. Delivery stuff, I tip. But we should not be expected to tip for people that aren't doing a service for us. That, like, they're just doing the cashier service. The owner of that company should be paying them a living wage, not us. Like, I know the girl didn't mean to. I'm sure she's amazing. But when I hit the skip, the no tip, she kind of gave me a look like, oh, you know. And I get it, she's disappointed. But at the same time, it is not my responsibility to be paying you. It is the owner of this company that's getting my money for this product that should be paying you. Do y'all feel the same, or am I alone here?
I'm not sure what the fuck just happened, but I went into a sandwich shop and I went up to the window, ordered the sandwich I wanted, which was a pre-built menu. It wasn't like I went down the line and you built the sandwich for me in front of me. I ordered and I got a drink and I went to pay for it, which I picked up at a different window. And I went to go pay and I pressed no on a tip. And the transaction went through and she said, "You didn't tip me." I said, "I know. I know." And I was very kind, very polite. Right? She said, "Well, why not?" And I said, "Well, I ordered a sandwich and I'm getting it to go. There was, I didn't feel like there was a tip needed." She goes, "Well, everybody tips us." And she goes, we're making your sandwich for you." And I said, "Isn't that what your hourly wage is for?" And I guess I was like dumbfounded just a little bit, and I still feel like I'm in shock and speechless just a little bit. But I am all for tips where it's deserved. Bartenders, servers, waitresses, your hairstylist sometimes, and however that works, and you're part of if it's built or you go to whatever. I am all for leaving a tip when it's a service job that you have given me a service for, and an appropriate tip. But all I did was walk to the window, order, and take it with me. Why should I have been felt guilty to not have left a tip on an $8 sandwich that was on your menu? I don't know. I gotta get over that one before I drive away.
Just a little friendly reminder, you are not at all required to tip, like, ever. It's actually pretty insane to me how entitled the service industry has become, expecting a tip from you whenever you buy something from them, thinking that they can get away with bad service or not giving you exactly what you want. And mind you, this is coming from somebody that's generally pretty patient and even tips well for maybe good to average service, but I have a couple of non-negotiables when it comes to service. If I barely see you at all, or you take enough time to where I think that you're wasting my time, then your tip goes down. If the restaurant charges some sort of junk fee or hidden fee that isn't explicitly shown on the menu, your tip goes down, or you're not getting a tip at all. I don't care. Now, of course, you should be treating your service workers with respect, but if you're not getting the minimum service required, you have the power to not give them a tip at all or to give them a minimum tip. You have the power as a consumer, don't forget that, and don't feel required to leave a tip.
Tipping is getting out of control, seriously. I just came back from a long trip. My back was hurting, so I went to get a massage. I loved the massage, it was very good. So after the massage, I tipped my masseuse. I gave her $20. I gave her cash. When I was leaving, the lady at the front desk stopped me and she was like, "Hey, how would you like to tip? You want me to charge your card on file?" I was like, I already tipped her, and also tipping is required now. Like, we can't decide whether we want to tip or not anymore? This is kind of crazy to me because it seems like we're forced to tip now, even if we don't like the service. And if we don't tip, they make us feel bad. They say, oh, you're a cheap bastard. If you can't afford to tip, you shouldn't go out. And it is true. A lot of people cannot afford to tip because they barely have enough money to eat, right? I've been to some places. I know that in Europe, people don't tip. And in Asia, people don't tip. So I just don't understand why tipping is such a big thing in this country. Do you know why?
I'm getting really tired of tipping culture in America, and I'm not talking about like server jobs or anything like that, but I'm talking about restaurants and food places that will ask you for a tip when they did absolutely nothing. Like, bro, I just got breakfast and I got a coffee and a bagel. Do not show me that screen that says, oh, would you like the tip? No, you just took my order. That's it. Like, why am I going to tip you because you grabbed me my bagel or made me my coffee or took my order at the cash register? Why would I do that? And it quite literally is everywhere now. It doesn't matter if it's like a small restaurant or a big place, at any food place where they just take your order. They're just like, oh yeah, and answer this one question, if you want to tip or not. Now, when it comes to actual restaurants where there's servers and like waiters, yeah, I will tip really, really well then. But most of these places nowadays where it's like, oh yeah, let me take your order at the cash register. It's like, oh yeah, you grabbed my bagel. Why would I tip you for that? Like, it makes no sense. I know most of the time it's not the actual like employees asking for it. It's like the tip system itself. Like the companies that make the tip systems, they want them to implement it because they get a share of like however many tips you get. But still, it's so annoying. Like, I'm so sick and tired of saying, oh, answer this question like, before you pay. Like, it just goes back to the original question of why would I tip you because you grabbed me a bagel? Like, it'd be different if you were like my server or something. Like, then I'll tip you. But you literally, I said, hey, can I get like an everything bagel? And you're like, oh, sure. Grab me a bagel. Hey, answer this question on the screen real quick. No, I'm not sending you a fucking tip. I'm sorry.
Okay, I have to rant for a second. And my luck, this is going to find the wrong side of TikTok, but I'm ranting anyways. So I just went and I got a 60-minute massage. It ended up being 44 minutes. And I did a little hot stone upgrade, so I paid for that. And when I went to check out, they asked me if I wanted to tip, and I said yes. And they use this little device, it's called Tippy, and you have to pay a service fee. Like, the customer pays a service fee to use Tippy, but they don't have another way to tip. Like, you can't tip on your credit card. You could tip cash, but if you don't have cash, you're out of luck. You have to use Tippy, or you don't tip and you look like an ass. And so when I go to tip, it has 18, 20, and 22%. And 18% was $36. And then the 22% was like $44. I'm like, my massage was good. A, it was not as long as it should have been. B, I'm a nurse, and the tipping amounts is more than what I make an hour. And you did 44 minutes worth of service. Given you have to clean up whatever, so an hour total. But then you want a tip that's more than what I make in an hour as a nurse. And you get paid hourly. It blows my mind. Tipping culture is so out of hand. I'm all for tipping, but tipping that much and even asking for that much and then making me pay a service fee to tip? Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. That's ridiculous.